excitement? Step into a Slim Jim. Oh, yeah!
Welcome, cultists, double agents, and, well, it's Malcolm Hulk, so, you know, to the 311th episode of an Unearthly podcast, streaming live on the 3rd of July, 2019. Happy Canada Day, Canada, and happy Independence Day, America. This week, we're featuring The Invasion of the Dinosaurs, written by Malcolm Hulk and starring John Pertwee as the Doctor and Elizabeth Sladen as Sarah Jane Smith. I am Bill Sylvia, the Man in Black, and if I found a spaceship offering to take me to the cold planet right now, I would go. With me are Randy Ronson McCulloch,
I love air conditioning.
Mad Matt Winchell,
Everybody do the dinosaur.
Tim the Enchanter Sheridan,
Get on the floor. Everybody walk the dinosaur.
and Thomas Fireheart.
I had something planned, but I forgot. Oh well.
So I tried to celebrate Canada Day by ordering poutine delivery, but it just tasted like bar food and not especially Canadian.
That's the thing.
It was from a bar, so like it's not just saying that's not a blanket statement. There's not
That's
many
the
places
thing.
to order
Food
from here.
has kind of gotten domestic.
hmm
It used to be this big, fancy Canadian thing, and now like every place I see around here has for.
Well, what I found interesting was it did specifically say cheese curds in the description because I made sure of that, but it tasted no different than the American cheese and gravy that doesn't even call itself poutine at every diner in the city.
You should come up here and have. At least know how cheese.
You're doing that cutting in and out thing again.
Oh, God damn it!
So, like every other syllable is something fading out.
Well, I don't have a freaking stream with Aaron until next week. So
I would say try to get closer to your mic. I'm not sure why you keep sounding like you're getting farther and farther away from it.
My mic is right where it needs to be.
It's probably the Discord settings.
Is this any better?
It seems to be clear at the moment.
Okay, yeah, I turned my gain up slightly. Last time I did this, I got complained on the live streams on echoes, so we'll see.
Want to say a couple sentences at your normal quietish volume?
The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. The rain in Spain falls mainly down the drain.
Sounds good so far.
Sounded clear to me.
It's weird how the Discord misbehaves like this. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, like I'm saying, poutine has been pretty well domesticated. If you really want a decent one, you should probably come here to Wisconsin because at least we know how to make our cheese curd.
Yeah, that's probably your major problem is that you're in a state that doesn't make decent cheese.
Yeah, the cheese curds they were definitely from another state. I mean, there are cows in Connecticut. There are cows in Connecticut, but I've never heard of Connecticut cheese.
Yes, but you're a hop, skip, and a jump from Vermont. If there is any state in the United States that I would say not above Wisconsin, but failing Wisconsin, I would have faith in their cheese. It's Vermont. I mean, it's basically Wisconsin, Vermont, New York, because New York has some good cheeses.
Yay, New York.
About every other state, California.
Yes, California, who also tried to steal the dairy state thing, is probably the worst place, and everyone from California that comes over here says so.
Yeah, it's basically they're good at making quantity, but there's not a lot of cheese artisans in California. And that's what Wisconsin has in spades is cheese artisans, people that basically have, are like 8th generation cheese makers.
I'm not even sure I would call them artisans. I would just call them natural born through the cheesy way.
I mean, okay, Wisconsin, what do we like? We like our beer. We really
Hey.
like our beer. We like our bratwurst.
Hey.
Really like our bratwurst. We love our cheese and our dairy and our ice cream. We love our frozen custard. Yeah, Aaron and I are going to get some of that tomorrow. That's our 4th of July treat.
I have an as of yet untouched container of moose tracks in my freezer.
Nah, we're gonna get it fresh from Michael's.
For those of you who don't know what that is, that's basically vanilla ice cream with chocolate and with miniature peanut butter cups all over inside of it.
I've had it, but not me. I'm going for a nice hot fudge sundae.
Mm.
The hot fudge sundae is my jam, man. It's like freaking Taoism in a bowl. Well, think about it. The hot of the fudge, the cold of the ice cream, or in this case, frozen custard. The dark of the chocolate, the white of the vanilla. It's pretty much opposites, except everything in there is sweet and delicious.
Yes.
So outside of giving our viewers a craving,
Oh God, I live with cravings these days. You wouldn't believe the fact that I'm on this, low sodium. It's like every now and then it's like a burger. Can't have a burger. It's like I want brats. I can't have brats.
Brats, that is the worst.
Oh God.
That's a good transition to talk about tonight's show.
Yeah, okay. And on that dead joke, we will move on to tonight's show where we have news and birthdays. We've got some geek talk. Tim will be doing the review of Shame for the episode he missed last week.
Shame.
And then we've got our episode summaries, our review, our final thoughts, and our ratings. So let's get into this. First of all, birthday on the 28th of June was Lala Ward, who was, of course, the second Romana from 1979 to 1980. She turned 68. On the 29th of June is the birthday of Maureen O'Brien, who played Vicky from 1964 to 65. She turned 76. It's amazing. There's only 8 years difference in them. On the 1st of July is the birthday of David Prowse, who played the Minotaur in The Time Monster, better known as being Darth Vader in Star Wars, and to our British people, the original Green Cross Safety Man. 84. Do you guys know what the Green Cross Safety Man is?
I've seen clips of it.
It's basically...
It's like an old school like safety guard video series for children.
Yeah, it's an old PSA. It's like playing Smokey the Bear or McGruff the Crime Dog over here.
Or the Crash Dummies.
Or the Crash Dummies when they used to have live actors in suits, yeah.
Yeah, but it was basically the Green Cross Safety Man was a superhero that flew around and instructed kids on how safely to cross the street.
I believe a decade or two later he got replaced by Super Ted.
Somewhere in the 80s, yes.
Good old Super Ted.
There's been like 3 or 4 people that have played the Green Cross Safety, but the original was David Prowse.
The original and probably better remembered out of them.
Yep. I didn't even know about this until about 3-4 weeks ago.
Oh, I've known about him, David Prowse, doing that series like, 10, 15 years ago.
No, the thing, I hadn't heard about it, but then I was reading a Harry Potter fan fiction and Hermione Granger trying to explain the cross safety to pure blood wizards, and it's just like, oh yeah, it's the guy who played the suit and who was played in the suit of Darth Vader in Star Wars. Blank stares.
He's also in a bunch of Hammer films, I believe.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean,
he played the Mummy for one movie, and he played the Frankenstein's monster for a couple of them.
He was a big actor. He just wasn't really known for his voice because his accent was thick.
Because his accent was super thick, but he did a lot of really good suit work. So
Right.
And the original Green Cross Safety video, they overdubbed his voice.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think starting the second or third one, they're just like, nah, we'll just let you use your original voice. I actually listened to those, and I'm like, I liked his original voice better. All right. That is all for our birthdays. So happy birthday, Lala, Maureen, and David. We don't have any lost stories this week, thank God.
Yay.
So that leads us up to our Series 12 news.
Okay, another browsing on online CVs has discovered that Maxim Baldry of Years and Years fame is listed to appear in Doctor Who in the upcoming series. His director is listed as various, meaning he might have a recurring role in multiple episodes.
So, according to what I read, that he's supposed to be in it, he's at least supposed to be in a historical, but that doesn't mean he might not be on the, the current time level of that, and just will show up for the current time pieces. We don't know.
Right.
Yes.
But it's still not a lot of data, but enough to report on. And that's all of our Series 12 news at this point. From here, we go to our cast and crew news.
Yes, always good cast and crew news. Doctor Who and Children in Need have worked hand in hand for years. This year they are doing something special instead of the usual video clip. Jodie Whittaker is teaming up with 10th Doctor David Tennant as well as other minor Doctor Who alumni, and they're recording a special album for this year's Children in Need, called Children in Need, Got It Covered. It will include at least 10 tracks and a variety of celebrities.
So this is kind of along the lines of way back in the day, if you recall, what was the name of that song? The one that they did for the starving children.
We Are the World?
We Are the
We Are
World.
the World. Thank you. My brain just suddenly, I had it in my brain and it just blanked. I
So
hate
here,
it when
are
my
you
brain-
trying to talk about We Are the World, or
But
are you trying to
it's-
talk about one of the other 80s ones that came out? There's
No,
like
no,
four
it
of
was
them.
the one that there was one they did for charity.
there's
And that's
there's
what
like
they're
four of
doing.
them they did
Instead
for
of doing
charity.
one song, they're
Yeah.
making a whole album for charity.
But yeah, We Are the World is the more popular one.
Yep. I could hear the song. I couldn't remember the name. It's just
We
out
are
of my
the
head.
world.
There you
Yeah.
Of course, part of me just hopes they kind of do it in character, so there's bits where they just start randomly
It's
stop
not-
singing and
it's not-
jab each other.
I don't really think it is because it's not really a Doctor Who thing. They're doing it as David Tennant and Jodie Whittaker. And
okay.
some of the people involved are Doctor Who alums. Some people aren't. I know Jim Broadbent is doing one. A lot of the other people that were Doctor Who alum are minor figures.
Yeah.
Like Olivia Colman, who was in the 11th Hour. One of the guys from the Ghost Monument. One of the Suranne Jones, who I think played the TARDIS in The Doctor's Wife. That kind of thing. So that's not like, but there's other people like Helena Bonham Carter is doing this.
Huh.
Blink, yeah.
Of course, it just occurred to me, David Tennant, Jodie Whittaker, and Olivia Colman, that's a bit of a Broadchurch reunion there.
Yeah.
It is. But it's just whoever they got could act and sing and was available. Because that's kind of the thing. You need to be able to sing.
Do you
And
though?
Helena Bonham
I
Carter.
mean, it's England. It's England. They do charity singles for celebrities
I mean-
all the damn time. So
It's also the era of autotune.
Oh God, no! Any of these people in auto-tune, they need to die. Auto-tune is an abomination.
I'm so sick of them mechanical voiced garbage.
Yeah, this is why I listen to 70s and 80s
That's
rock.
extreme
Right?
autotune. Like autotune is also used like if you can't hold a note to make it sound like you held a note.
Don't
Yes,
care.
but
If you can't sing, then get off the stage.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put myself up on that stage. I know I can't hold a note. You shouldn't be up there
learn to
either.
sing, or make a way to make it work for you, like Bob Dylan did.
Yeah, there are talented ways of getting around it if you do have issues, but out of tune, just no.
Yeah,
Mm.
I've actually been stretching my voice muscle recently, my singing muscle. I sing in the car a lot.
Oh.
I occasionally do stuff like singing as Elvis Presley.
Uh-huh.
I believe the only kind of singing I can still do is Rammstein.
Have you destroyed your voice?
Nope, I'm just naturally that deep, dude.
Because Rammstein is basically pure gravel. I mean, I'm not. I can do other stuff, and I sing
Du
pretty. Yeah.
hast mich. No,
Yeah.
I can do that without even straining,
Mm.
dude.
Yeah. It's when you get into like death growls and shit, that's where it's like, that's gonna tear your throat to shreds if you're not good at it.
You start singing like Death Clock, that'll just destroy your throat.
Oh yeah, that's screamo rock, yeah.
All right.
Rammstein is at least somewhat even keeled.
Anyway, moving on. The next step is our video
Alright.
media releases.
Am I still connected? One sec.
Yes, the person who's
there we
supposed
go.
to play it.
Okay. The BBC have announced the next season to be made into a Blu-ray steelbook. The series 4 specials ranging from the 2008 Christmas special, The Next Doctor, to the 2009 New Year's Eve special, End of Time. Also included on the list is the animated specials Dreamland and The Infinite Quest. The specials are due for release on September 2nd, 2019.
You know, the animated specials aren't even on our lists. We add.
True.
I mean, I know they're not the
were they
greatest
particularly good?
animated
Because I
things
just
in
don't
the
remember
world.
them being a thing, to be honest.
The animation is no more better or worse than the animated reconstruction you get. You know, the missing episodes,
Mm.
but they're actual like full episodes.
Right.
Hmm.
I didn't find them like particularly memorable.
Dreamland was actually.
Hmm.
All right. So that takes us down to Big Finish. And we only have one piece of news from Big Finish. The War Master faces off against the Eighth Doctor in Part 3 of the War Master saga, out today. The War Master, Rage of the Time Lords, consists of 4 episodes. The Survivor by Tim Foley. The Coney Island Chameleon by David Llewellyn. The Missing Link by Tim Foley. And Darkness and Light by David Llewellyn. The War Master, Rage of the Time Lords is out today, the 20th anniversary of Doctor Who on Big Finish. For $28.90 on CD, $20 download. I'm sorry for not putting those in British pounds, but apparently Big Finish got the price of the release on their news article.
Yeah.
So I had to, they listed the price of like the previous one. And you
Mhm.
know that, but they forgot to tell us what the current release price was. So I had tried to look it up, and all I can get is the dollar amount since I'm in America.
Odd,
That must be part of the update to the Big Finish site.
maybe.
No, it's unusual. They just forgot to add it to the article because they were so busy on listing, you know, how it's out on the 20th anniversary and that kind of thing, that I think it just escaped.
It's possible.
All right. Anyway, that is all of our news. Not a lot of news today. Some news. All right. So next up is the review of Shame.
Oh boy.
And
Okay.
Tim to talk about the thing that we all ranted about last week.
Okay, the Gunfighters, the Wild Wild West. Yeehaw, yippee-ki-yay.
Motherfucker.
Wild West.
Yes. Alright, so the thing in general I like. Okay, and I'm glad I'm nowhere near any of you right now, because I'm gonna say that the thing in general I liked was the song.
Shame.
You're not too far
Shame.
from me to get on a Metro North.
Song. I thought it was unique, original, and added a nice flavor to the episode.
I agree the first time you hear it. By the 15th,
Kill me.
yeah, Kill me.
Something in the general thing I did not like too much was I really didn't care that much for the historical inaccuracy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
We
that was
talked about
that
that.
was another one that pinched us.
Now, I have seen other portrayals of Wyatt Earp, and and none of them were like exactly what happened in real life. But this one, seeing as how I believe Doctor Who originally started as, or was originally conceived as an educational show, it should
Edutainment.
have been edutainment. It should have been held to a higher standard in like portraying more accurately what happened. Like, because of like who was at the gunfight at the OK Corral, who killed who was shot, and who lived. They should have had a better chance, done a better
Yeah.
job of, being faithful to that.
The fact that Johnny Ringo wasn't even in Tombstone.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking
Yeah.
of Johnny Ringo, my favorite scene in the episode was Johnny Ringo's first appearance when he goes up to the bar and the bartender recognizes. The performance by that actor was miles ahead
Of Charlie.
yeah,
Charlie the barman or
Yep.
of Johnny Ringo?
the performance of Johnny Ringo.
Oh. We like Charlie the barman.
Yeah,
ourselves.
Yeah. We prefer the barman. It's a shame that Johnny Ringo just killed him off early.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then his death was
that,
made pointless by the doctor doing all the shit that he killed Charlie to stop him from doing.
But at the same time, in that defense, of course, the doctor can do it. Character.
Yes, he's got main character armor.
He's the main character that gives him plot armor.
If Johnny Ringo tried to shoot him, he'd somehow magically dodge it.
He would stop to pick something up, and the bullet would go right over his head.
Yep.
Yes, exactly.
Plot armor.
good old plot armor.
The
But
anyway,
anyway,
substance known to man.
Yes. But I did think that Johnny Ringo's actor did have a genuineness and authenticity. It felt like he was trying to portray this character in an actually good storyline, whereas it seemed like the actors who were playing Doc Holliday and the rest of the Clantons were like more hamming it up and like playing caricatures of their real historical figures.
Well, I don't think we had a problem with them being caricatures so much as that they couldn't even hold their accents for more than an episode.
Well, that and the fact that there were some major things that were completely forgot. And I don't know if these actually caught your brain, Tim, but the fact that the whole basis of the plot was the doctor going to see Doc Holliday to get a tooth pulled. Doc Holliday wasn't a practicing dentist by the time he was in Tombstone. His consumption was so bad because he had tuberculosis.
Yes.
He couldn't practice anymore. His last practice had been in Vegas, and he shut it down after 6 months and turned the place into a bar because he couldn't do it anymore. And that was before he went to Tombstone. So Doc Holliday was just there as a gambler and a gunfighter and a drinker.
Just so happened that he had friends in the law.
Yeah, he just so happened that he had helped Wyatt Earp on one occasion. But the whole premise is flawed. Because somebody didn't do their homework.
The writer didn't do the homework, and no one checked him on it.
Yep.
Well, that is a real shame.
Mm-hmm.
But
like I said, Johnny Ringo was nowhere near Tombstone at the time, and definitely didn't die in the gunfight at the OK Corral, considering he wasn't in it. One of the people that were in there didn't actually die until 1900. And there's, I think, no mention at all of Morgan Earp.
Nope.
Yeah, so it's just terrible. The inconsistent. All right, so scene you didn't like.
Scene I did not like. I did not particularly like the scene where Doc Holliday sets up the Doctor to get shot by giving him the gun. I thought that was kind of mean-spirited of Doc Holliday, especially the usual portrayal of Doc Holliday in motion pictures and TV shows. Like, Doc Holliday is supposed to be a scoundrel, not a bad guy.
Well, scoundrel can be a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like a Han Solo, Lando Calrissian type scoundrel.
A scoundrel with a
Ah,
heart of gold type is what you're aiming
Yeah.
for, and I'm not sure that's
Yep.
particularly accurate either.
yeah, because considering the fact they used to cheat at cards, and that's known.
Although it does seem in this episode like he had a change of heart because instead of just leaving the Doctor to die, he actually went to the hotel and helped him out.
And got in the gunfight in the OK Corral, which he was in, but
Mhm.
they didn't portray him right, considering the fact that he started that gunfight with a frickin' stage rifle from a stagecoach he may or may not have robbed.
Again, the more you
He was
know.
accused of it, but no one knows for sure if he did it.
Oh well. In general, I thought this episode was rather not amusing, but rather bemusing, with some interesting historical inaccuracies that didn't really detract from the story itself, but was still kind of annoying.
Shame.
And I did like the Doctor's performance by William Hartnell, as well as Steven and Dodo. I did like Steven and Dodo's outfits. Anyway, all in all, I'd say this episode is going to get, from me, slightly above average, so 3.5 stars.
Oh, God damn. God damn you.
What did I
But
say? That Tim was going to
haven't-
upset the apple cart.
Yes, he was.
God fucking damn
by
it,
the way,
Tim.
This, by the way, is the listing of points given for this episode, Tim. Bill gave it a 1.5.
I was the high one.
I gave it a 0.5. Matt gave it a 1.0, and Thomas gave it a 0.5. It was currently the second worst episode on our list at 0.9. You are definitely upsetting the turnip truck.
Wait, if you add those other scores together, no, it's still a little above 3.5.
It jumps from 0.9 to 1.4, which will move it up the rankings from damn near dead last to actually
Still be close to there because the Twin Dilemma had, I think.
Yeah.
damn near dead last.
It's
Okay.
it's still worse than the Twin Dilemma.
It is still worse than the Twin Dilemma and still better than Journey to the Center of the TARDIS. And that's with a 5-point jump. Wow. I don't know if that's just a thing or a listing on how badly we hate Journey to the Center of the TARDIS.
I really, really despise Journey.
Oh, God.
It's in fact gotten worse with viewings, and I'm pretty sure Gunslingers won't fare much better.
Well, yeah, because you hear the song again and you go nuts. Tim,
I've actually forgotten how the song goes. Can you remind me?
Oh god.
You see, the problem is it's a trigger word for Thomas. Thomas, Ballad of the Last Chance Saloon.
God damn. Like I really am never watching that ever again.
That episode got like all of our hate. We burned it to the ground last week.
And me, it merely got mild indifference.
And you know, Tib, you have given nothing below a 3.0 all season. I mean, yeah, all the episodes above were good, but you gave Midnight a 3. That was your lowest score. When we got into the worst, you've been giving 3.5s. Let's see how it goes tonight. Okay,
Yes.
but before we get there, Matt has been at the movies.
I finally have joined the movies. So yes, this weekend rather, I we had a couple of choices. By the way, the theaters are getting super slim where you can see this movie right now. But we did finally go to see Godzilla King of the Monsters. And I'm getting an image up finally. Took a few moments. So I don't know where to start. Actually, I'd like to start with what the heck is going on with this browser. I put the image URL in and it doesn't want to work. What the hell? Okay, I'm looking for another image. So for those that don't know, follow up to the previous 2 movies in the franchise. I have recently seen all 2 of them before going to see this one. Yeah, let's go with this. I'm sorry, I'm still trying to fix the image. All of a sudden, I tried putting in an image and everything went bonkers. Oh, there we go. Finally got it to work. All right. I guess I should be avoiding the plot, yeah, but I can give a basic synopsis.
You can give a very basic.
Yeah.
Very basic.
Like what we get from the trailer, sort of thing.
Like what do you get from the trailers? Oh gosh, actually, what you get in the trailers isn't 100% truthful. There's a little bit more to it, but the very, very basic, keeping it from spoiling much of the plot, is that a bunch of the monsters have gotten loose, and all hell is breaking loose, and the humans have to decide a monster they want to try and back in order to preserve themselves for the future, because otherwise they're just going to get completely wrecked. And so monsters start monster mashing all over every single major city.
So it's Final Wars?
Kind of. There's actually some references to monsters they don't show in the trailers, by the way. There's a couple of them I've never seen before, but there's a couple that are known to people who know the franchise well enough that
Okay.
it's like, oh, there's a little tribute. Okay. They do very briefly mention Skull Island here and there, so they do reference some of the stuff back to the previous 2 movies. And a couple of the characters are returners from the first movie as well, so that's another in reference for the universe. The main characters that we focus on are new. They can be kind of cardboardy, but they're nowhere near as cardboardy as the previous movie. That's my number one takeaway, is that I feel like we spent too much time on the humans, but they weren't nearly as bad as the humans in the first Godzilla movies, so I'm kind of okay with that, but they're not as good as the Kong Skull Island ones, so mixed result to me.
Yeah. Which really just kind of shows that it really is subjective which you think there's more or less of, because I can remember seeing complaints that apparently there were people complaining that you saw too much of the monster fights or something, and I'm like,
there was
really?
not enough monster fighting. No. Whoever said that ain't a giant monster fan. Piss off. Less of your blabbering and carrying on about characters I don't care about. More of the giant creatures punching the shit out of each other and nuking each other with radioactive breath. Thank you very much. Trying to think what else I can mention. The visual effects. The one of the complaints I also heard was there was no daylight visual effects. That's bullshit. I saw the giant monsters in daylight by the end for sure. Oh, also one of the things I was amused at, I seen little hints of it, and I finally got to see it myself. King Ghidorah has different personalities depending on which head you're focusing on.
Hmm.
And if King Ghidorah is looking at you, the right head is a complete total derp.
I've seen memes suggesting that, but I wasn't sure if it was
There's
that.
like weird moments where he's like sniffing at some sort of spot on the ice, and literally the middle head has to pull him by the horns to get him to focus on a monster that's threatening them.
Hmm.
There's a couple moments like that. So yeah, just it would be King Ghidorah's left side head is just completely doing its own thing unless it's super focused.
Hmm.
And once in a while, the middle head has to yank him to get his attention back. By the way, I would also mention that all the monsters had suit animators, as in like they filmed people with the like ball suits, and then they would reanimate them later in CG. And I
Oh, okay, cool.
believe, sorry, what'd you say?
I was just saying that was a cool detail.
Mm-hmm. I believe the guy who played Rodan also was I want to say he was the middle head for Ghidorah, and I think the the left head was another popular known suit actor, which is probably why he left the comedic stuff to him, because he knew how to do it even in a weird ball suit.
Ah,
Motion capture.
Yeah, motion capture. That's what you were looking for. The word I was looking for. Motion capture suits.
Took me a couple minutes to remember it too.
Yeah. I believe Godzilla is the same motion capture guy from the previous movie as well, so he's just redoing what he did before, trying to look big and buff and move slowly unless called for. Trying to remember if there's any other details. I guess ask me anything as long as it's not spoilery.
you mentioned that some of the monsters that you hadn't seen before. Did you happen to check afterward to see if they were like existing properties or if they were created brand new for the movie?
There's one of them I'm questioning, but I haven't had a chance to look to see if it was an existing property yet or not. There's definitely one I know for a fact was a previous existing property that hasn't shown up in this franchise, the American franchise, until now.
Ah,
And then there's another monster that appeared in one of the previous two movies that has appeared again in this one.
any mentions to Friends of the Children?
No.
Oh.
That's a dead-on no. I'm still amused by the idea, but as far as I'm aware, they're not planning to cross those franchises, even though they have the rights to both.
They need to.
I want them to, but I'm more worried about them actually getting the numbers they need to keep it going after the next movie. Apparently, from what I've been hearing, the numbers, at least in the theaters, have been dipping with each movie. Pretty badly at that. Despite the fact that the movies have been improving with each one so far, except for this one kind of seems in between the last two. Like I said, it's not as paper cuttery boring bad as the original wafers that we got for human characters in the first Godzilla movie, but they're nowhere near as good as the Kong Skull Island characters.
Well, at the moment, the budget to make this movie was between 170 and 200 million.
Mm-hmm.
It is currently boxed almost 400.
So it's maybe gotten close to making green then. Not guaranteed, but it's definitely close.
Depending on how much they put into
advertisements, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they never count advertisements into the development of a movie. That's the one thing that irks me the most, because you never know what the bloody number is. And that's what actually this depicts whether or not a movie was good or bad. And who knows, maybe usually they count DVD sales in the gross, yes? I think.
No.
No, they just count the
No.
theater.
Yeah, that's why it's called
That's
box office.
that's that's box office, not the gross, I guess. Okay.
Mhm.
I
But what
would
about
worry
the
more about the gross than
merchandising?
the actual box office, but then again, some
Mhm.
theater companies do
Yeah.
not. So
It's kind of hard to tell with that because, mind you, the thing about video releases is that grosses for years, and
Mhm.
stuff that horribly failed in the box office can suddenly make its money back because of
Right.
cult
well,
things
that's
like
literally a Blade Runner.
What I'm also
David
thinking of
Lynch's
with
Dune.
Yeah.
what I'm also thinking of with a flashy franchise like Godzilla. I don't know the case of this current franchise, but I know that similar ones in the past, if they get a lot of their money from, say, Bandai, uh, that particular sponsor might be wondering, what their action figure sales look like before greenlighting a second one,
Ooh,
or etc.
it is estimated the film will need to gross 500 to 600
I'm sorry, you're cutting out again. 500 of what?
550 to 600 million in order to break even.
Oof.
Oof.
What the hell were they
Mm.
spending on that budget for the freaking advertisement?
Right?
That's more than double,
I
and
mean,
usually they
it's
barely spend double.
like especially on. I mean, it's Godzilla, but at the same time, it's like it's still kind of niche. So you'd think you wouldn't be forking out that much
It's not
for
that niche.
advertising.
Godzilla's literally been around since freaking
Oh,
007.
you know what I mean. Like kaiju movies in their own way are kind of
Well, it's
at
it's a
least
s- it's a slim audience,
niche
especially in
compared to
America,
like
but
other
it's
things.
not
Anyway.
like it's unpopular, like
Mm.
being acknowledged as a
Oh
thing.
yeah, I don't mean unpopular. I just mean like it's a niche-ish thing. Like at least compared to like Marvel or Star Wars or stuff like that. So
But at the same time,
assuming
I
Star Wars
Which used to be
advertising budget
niche.
is not. Mm.
Marvel used to be niche and then hit mainstream
Mm.
with the MCU. But
Mm.
yeah, anything prior to the MCU was considered a niche film. Superheroes were considered niche films.
well, then again, there's only maybe a handful of them that were good, and even when they were
Except
good, they weren't exactly 100% accurate either.
I think Batman and Superman may have squeaked out of the niche category, but
Yeah, at least
Superman in
Superman
particular.
did. Yeah.
The first two Superman films were amazingly good and accurate, and then everything else just fell apart.
Batman, I think, broke out of the niche and then turned around and walked back into it.
Yep. It's those first two movies of the DC franchise, man.
Definitely went back in when they when Michael Keaton said nope, not coming back, and they freaking hired Val Kilmer. And then what's face Tim Burton said not making anymore, and they gave it let's shoot.
and then it came back out of niche
Well,
with
actually, as
Christopher
far as I
Nolan.
know, as
No,
far as I know, it was more so Tim Burton got the boot because he wanted to go like even darker or something, and they were like, "No, fuck this. We want to make this for kids."
which was the bad choice.
Which is the bad choice because even the cartoon wasn't just for kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the cartoon movie comes out direct to TV and it's making better numbers than your live action film, you've done fucked up.
Anyway, back to Godzilla.
Godzilla. Yes, any other questions? Do you
Nope.
want me to spoil any of the monsters?
Not really. If they're
Is Jet
supposed to be
Jaguar in
surprises,
it?
Huh?
Is Jet Jaguar in it?
Sadly, no.
That's what they need. Godzilla versus Pacific Rim.
That'd be
That was
also
what-
another interesting idea, but yeah.
I thought that was where they were planning on going with it.
No, the big thing they're going to is Godzilla versus King Kong. That's literally going to be the next movie.
Yeah, they just Pacific Rim then proceeded to fall on its face, and
Yeah, Pacific Rim 2 didn't really get any help from the fact that it was a complete and total dud, apparently.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, they couldn't even
Yeah.
get the camera right for that movie. Do you
Yeah, it
remember
was-
how epic Pacific Rim 1 was, where they did all these low angles and they made the robots feel giant and slow and lumbering and awesome?
Mm.
I've seen footage of the second one, completely the opposite.
Mm.
Terrible. And they all
Yeah.
moved like they're normal humans. It's like, nope, we're done here. Ay, ay. Anyway, I guess I should give an overall feeling on the movie at the end here. So, um, Godzilla 2014 for me was average at best. Kong Skull Island was a solid good. Um, I think Godzilla King of the Monsters is still good, but it's a slightly lower good. It's still got interesting stuff. It's still got enough giant monster fun that if you're in for that, you're gonna have a good time. But again, I feel like you could have slimmed off like a good 15 to 30 minutes off of the human stuff and made it more interesting. Maybe even given some of the side monsters more time.
Hmm.
Like Rodan was barely in there and then gone again. Same with Mothra. It was mostly Ghidorah and Godzilla.
Mm.
But that's about it.
All right. So that covers, I think, everything we've had to cover this week. I should be back with Geek Talk next week because Aaron and I are due for our annual 4th of July trip.
To the
We're not
theaters,
sure
yes.
We're still not sure what we're going to see, but we're going to see something.
Isn't Spider-Man out?
That's
Yep.
a strong front runner right now.
Yeah.
Because
Mm.
normally we go to see an animated film, and we were going to see The Secret Life of Pets 2, but unfortunately there's no late night showing.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Spider-Man might be your best bet
It's like-
unless you really want to see Godzilla yet, if it's
Like,
still
I
there.
think
I think
last
Marcus
year,
still has it.
No, we have to go to Star Cinema because Marcus is too close to Elver Park. And remember, Aaron's basically fireworks.
But you're trying to avoid the fireworks, okay.
Yep.
I would have thought the theater would have been enough, but alright.
No, it's not. She said that she's been able to hear them.
Mm.
Anyway. Anyway, so who's up for the summary? I believe.
That is me.
Yes, I believe it was you.
Mm-hmm.
Stop
God, this
watch.
summary is a lot of words.
Get ready. Alright. Ready?
Yep.
Alright, starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, the Doctor and Sarah Jane arrive in then current day London after the time travel journey before to find central London seemingly abandoned. After a few encounters with some looters, the Doctor and Sarah Jane are attacked by a pterodactyl and escape in a car that the looters were using, only to run into and be arrested by some unit soldiers who think they are looters. After failing to get away from the soldiers and getting captured again, they are driven off, only to escape again from the unit soldiers when a T-Rex appears out of nowhere and the unit soldiers stop the car to deal with it. While hiding in a house, the Doctor and Sarah Jane encounter a man claiming to be from the time of Richard I, and the man attacks the Doctor only to disappear again, with the Doctor recognizing what happened as a time eddy. After this, they're discovered by the Brigadier and brought back to the temporary unit HQ, and the dinosaur sightings are explained to them, saying that they'd evacuated central London as a result. They try to capture one of the dinosaurs so the Doctor can study it before it disappears, only for it to disappear before they have the chance to get it. The Doctor, assuming whoever is causing this has their own power supply, since most power has been cut off in the area for the time being. The Doctor decides to build a machine to pacify a dinosaur this time, but Mike Yates, who it turns out is in on the scheme, plants something on the device to make it ineffective, changing his mind when a T-Rex is summoned to try and kill the Doctor, which Mike later complains to his superiors about, and pacifying the T-Rex instead. Having done some investigating, Sarah Jane presents the option that a man called Professor Whitaker is behind this, only for the information to almost get her killed when more sabotage leads to the T-Rex breaking free of its chains. Also later being tricked by Sir Charles Grover, a politician, who was also in on the scheme. Sarah Jane is shoved into a room and passes out, waking up in a completely different room with new clothes on, being told that she's on a spaceship that left Earth 3 months ago. Not buying into this at all, Sarah Jane tries to convince the people that it's a scam before managing to escape later on, realizing the spaceship that she's in is just part of the underground bunker that this is all happening in. Meanwhile, the Doctor has managed to discover the location of the bunker and manages to luck into finding a secret lift down to it, only to be led around the bunker with doors being dropped down to cut him off and forcing him back to the lift, only to get taken back up and get attacked by a pterodactyl again. After going back to the unit HQ, Whitaker tries to trick the Doctor into going back to the hangar where the T-Rex was kept, only for a Stegosaurus to be summoned in time so the Doctor can frame. The Doctor finally realizes Mike Yates was in on the sabotage, so Benton allows him to be knocked out so the Doctor can escape. Meanwhile, Sarah Jane, having escaped, is almost immediately captured again when she tries to tell General Finch what's going on, only to now learn that he's involved this whole time. The plot is now explained to her that they're trying to roll back time when it was untouched by humanity to start over again in a utopian society. As the Doctor tries to get back to the underground bunker, he's diverted when two dinosaurs appear and start fighting each other, almost getting caught again by General Finch, only to be saved by the Brigadier. Back at Unit HQ, Brig tries to call Geneva, only for Mike Yates to stop the call from going through. Benton manages to subdue him after Yates tells the Doctor what's happening. After being locked in a storeroom, Sarah Jane manages to escape through a vent and end up back in the spaceship, trying to convince him again that it's all a lie, with a man named Mark, who she encountered earlier, who saw her leave the first time trying to help her out. So Charles is forced to come in and calm them all down, but a man named Adam overhears him talking with Sarah Jane and Mark, and then basically realizes that he's been lied to. And Sarah manages to convince them she's right by going out of the airlock and proving where it leads to, taking the people out to confront Whitaker and Sir Charles. The Doctor, the Brigadier, and the troops, they were able to gather, all turn up as well, and Whitaker flips the switch out of panic to start the time scoop before they can stop him. Thankfully, the Doctor is still able to move and manages to turn the machine off in time, messing with it to make it so only the machine would be sent back. Whitaker and Sir Charles, not realizing this, go for it again, only to be sent back in time with the machine. Back at the Unit HQ, they explain that Mike Yates has been allowed to quietly resign from Unit, and the Doctor exposits that he can sympathize with Sir Charles, just not his methods. Before we end the final episode with the Doctor trying to convince Sarah Jane to travel in with him in the TARDIS again, just this time on purpose. And that's it.
Who's beating a drum?
That's
The
me.
Anyway.
fireworks are coming up.
Right,
Oh.
okay. So that was 5 minutes, 32 seconds.
Almost made it, but considering it's a six-parter, that's not bad.
Yeah, considering it's a 6-parter,
Yeah.
that's not terrible.
I just realized what our bump should have been. Anytime they used that frickin' device that caused the thing, and then overdubbed it with shares if I could turn back time.
Ah.
I want to overdub the entire thing just every time you see the effect. If I could turn back time.
Right.
That or the other obvious one would be Time Warp.
No, Time Warp's overused.
Yeah, obviously had to like condense like a lot of stuff. But
And
yeah.
look, this is a
And,
lot
like,
of back and
some stuff-
forth. Yay. Just imagine that every other episode Sarah Jane's been captured again.
Yeah, this is the part that Eddie Izzard pretty much was talking about. Hey, look, Doctor, I've escaped. Oh, I've been captured. I managed to get. Oh, I'm captured again. Yeah.
Well, it's humans, so I can't scream and make them run away.
Yep. Well, that was really never Sarah Jane.
Well, yeah, I'm not
was-
saying that was Sarah Jane. I'm just saying, well, it's humans, so I can't scream and make them go away.
I've been
Because that's a Doctor Who thing.
All right. So we are down to our likes and dislikes. Tim, you are first. What did you like about this serial in general?
In general, I rather something in general I liked about this serial was to put it, I guess you could say I did like the dinosaurs themselves, scientifically inaccurate though they may have been.
Well, mind you, let's put this into context that this was 1970.
Yeah.
So we
Let me
know
put
that
this into further context for you. This is also the year that was it The Lost World was also a thing. Land of the Lost, not Lost World.
Land of the Lost.
Land of the Lost was
Yeah,
a thing,
but
and
what
Land of the
I-
Lost
what
did
I'm
this
saying-
better.
What I'm saying is that, well, yes, Land of the Lost was also made domestically. It's a U.S. product, and U.S. is always 5 to 10 years ahead of Britain.
And well,
Especially-
honestly, also I would give them the fact that Sid and Mark Croft ran that show, I believe, and they were already better puppeteers in a lot of ways. They've been experimenting a long time at that point.
But what I
were
was
talking to
referring to, was the scientific inaccuracy.
Mm.
I was going to further compound my statement that to the fact that Jurassic Park, that came out in the 90s,
20 years later.
has already proven to be scientifically inaccurate when it comes to the shape.
And even then, Jurassic Park, if I recall right, they were using cutting edge findings, like the newest scientific information when that came out.
Yeah. And it's already been blown out of the water.
Yeah, but I mean, and this is 20 years before that, so
It's
a lot
theorized
of
that it's been blown out of the water. We're still
lot-
back and forth on that too. Yeah.
a lot of what we saw in Jurassic Park wasn't even known in the 70s.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the funny thing is the dinosaurs were never actually intended to be in this at all, and it was more so like Barry Letts and Terrence Dix, I think, bringing up, oh well, the kids like dinosaurs. Let's try to work dinosaurs in there somehow.
That, and they hired the giant lizard guy to write it.
The giant
You don't
lizard
bring
Which I
guy?
guess in hindsight is why it's...
You don't hire Malcolm Hulke to write a story if you don't want lizards in it.
But for the time and the budget, I did think the dinosaur puppets were quite amusing.
Amusing's a word.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a couple things that Hulk did that were not lizards. The ambassadors of death. Colony in space.
Oh, that had lizards in it, just not like the main
Frontier in
thing.
Space had lizards. Colony in Space not.
No.
No, Colony in Space did. It had like some like fake lizard thingy that they would use to try and scare the colony.
Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about those. He apparently co-wrote the Faceless Ones and the War Game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, you take a look at his other thing, the Silurians, the Sea Devils, Frontier in Space. Yeah, he was known for doing that. Did not come out the way I intended. And there's and our first innuendo of the night. Okay.
First, or just the first one highly noticed?
Okay. Were you done, Tim?
I'm done.
Matt, how about you?
General thing I liked about this one, I literally liked the acting in this one.
Mm.
Like they found a good way to keep the streets relatively clean, so it was basically only the necessary people that needed to be there. And as far as I could tell, even the background guys were doing a really good job.
Mm.
When they were supposed to be looking busy, they were looking busy at their little office parts. If they were supposed to be out marching, they were out marching, taking orders, standing by, waiting to do something. The more foreground people were active and usually participating in the conversation properly. Is just a really well acted and very well directed, I guess, for the acting.
I would
Mm.
go for the first part of that. I would hate on the
Yeah, but
second.
yeah, just really just everyone was throwing their effort into the acting in this one.
All right, Thomas.
Ooh. Well, I've actually got a lot of choices for this, but I'm I'm just gonna go with the villains. Like, I find them to just be so interesting because usually with Doctor Who, I'm not confident enough to say majority of or all, but like most of the time, a lot of Doctor Who villains are like the mustache twirling, like, haha, I'm gonna kill you all type people. But these are like, even though there's like that element kind of to this, they're like, these are just a bunch of people who are that convinced what they're doing is right that they don't really give a shit that these like the other billions of people in the world are gonna die. But they also don't like, I mean, it kind of bites them in the ass, but like the fact that they're even just like, well, we can't stoop to their level, so we can't kill anyone, which is why Sarah Jane is manages to escape a few times. But yeah, it's just like,
Well,
to
it's a
me
refreshing that at least
anyway.
half of that group was like that
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Yeah.
It was mostly like because Mike Yates was just like, no, I absolutely refuse to let you do
Mhm.
that.
But I believe also the
And
Yeah,
politician
yeah.
was like that too, I believe.
then
And
on
he
the
had final
flip
say.
Yeah,
side,
yeah.
then on the flip side, you get that older lady who is just like, yeah, if she doesn't change her mind in the next 30 minutes, we're gonna have to go in and put her down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she's gonna have
Yeah.
to be destroyed. Yeah.
Mm,
I'm like, seriously, that's what you're basing
um,
that's what you're going to base your new society on.
Right.
You follow what we say or you're destroyed.
mm.
Well,
When you put it like
And
that.
generally, one of the more interesting things to me is this is also one of, I mean, off the top of my head at least, it's the only Doctor Who story I can think of where the villains are supposed to be the extreme left wing, as opposed
Yeah, you
to
don't see
like
that very
some
often.
variation on right wing.
it's funny that you mentioned the villains. One of the guys in there, of course, Professor Whitaker,
There, found it.
is
Mm-hmm.
actually known for playing villains in Doctor Who, considering the fact that he would later go on to play Niter in Genesis and Dalek.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And considering I know that role well, I could not shake Niter a
Yeah,
bit.
he was a few shades away from becoming Niter, actually.
Yeah.
I guess
Actually,
the funny thing
I
is that
think
he
that's
was also a
I
character
think
in
Niter's a good balancing act with him because he can shows that he can do the extreme on both ends, essentially,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
when it
He
comes
can
to
do the
a
extreme
scientific
left
villain.
or the extreme right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Which is also something I found. Yeah, it's just that was something that I was thinking about, but I was going to mention later. But I found extremely interesting about this one. It's like, ooh, and the doctor's a middle guy, or at least definitely closer to middle than these lot are.
Well, yeah, like it's
Mhm.
more like he's left leaning, but he's not as. It's one of those things where yeah, it's like I can
Mhm.
kind of get where they're coming from, but this is
Right.
way too far.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
this is crossing a
I'm
line in the sand that's
I'm
a few miles back, dudes.
I'm pretty sure it comes out a
Mm.
few times in the episode. Like I'm on board with everything you say except for the killing people part.
Mhm.
Right?
But
And
okay.
now I want to write Doctor Who and Poison Ivy.
Or what's his face? Ra's al Ghul.
Mm.
He'd
Hmm.
have this. He'd have the same goals too. All right. So, Bill, how about you? What did you like
So
about?
mine is similar to Thomas, but I think it's still different enough. So I liked, and I know this is an old hat story by now, and it may have even been old hat in the 70s, but it's pretty unique for Doctor Who, and that is the conspiracy plot. The whole oh, I'm going to go report you to the guy that I think is in charge of the good guys. Oh, he's actually one of the baddies. And then this other guy, and you don't know where to turn. And
Yeah, every step you go, the
Hmm.
conspiracy.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it's new to see that in Doctor Who. And I don't
Hmm.
know, like I said, it may have been even old hat then. Like I know you see it on every superhero TV show nowadays, and still it's still usually entertaining enough, but it's definitely
Hmm.
something original for Doctor Who to pull off.
Mm,
Yeah. I mean, it gets to the point that
I will
even
say that this
like,
one delved deeper than most Doctor Who episodes usually did.
Mhm.
yeah, I mean,
That's
it
for
does
sure.
get to the point where the Doctor isn't even really sure if he can trust the Brigadier or not.
Mhm.
Until he
But
figures out
then
it.
they figured out that it's Mike Yates, so it's like, oh,
Right.
well, that explains
Hmm.
everything.
Mhm. Yeah, imagine
Right.
if the Brigadier were blindly followed his boss instead of following his friend, things would have been very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm going to take a combination of Matt, Thomas, and Bill's and say that what I liked was the writing.
Ah, the
Malcolm
writing,
Hulke
yeah.
did a
Hmm.
very impressive job, and that basically created the villain. It created the dialogue. It created the conspiracy. All of that was all Malcolm Hulke's writing.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that I watched this, and usually I get a little out of it for a 6 episoder. There's usually, I think, an episode or two where I feel it lags a bit. I never felt that at all during this.
Hmm.
Like, I go back and think, could any of this really be cut out other than Sarah Jane escaping capture a couple of times? I don't think there's anything I could have done to shorten this.
Yeah, outside
And
of
Hmm.
maybe
see what
eliminating some of the capture scenes of Sarah over and over again, there's not really
well,
much
the
to
thing
cut.
is, every time she escaped. She had to do a point outside of being captured. Had to get the note to the doctor for him to, put it together. She had to do the. So
Yeah.
it's like she would escape, accomplish the one goal to move the plot forward, and
Hmm.
recapture.
Yeah, like she was at least being proactive rather than just like someone just there for the sake of getting captured.
And it's something that Sarah Jane, in particular, this season does that you don't really see her do later during the Tom Baker era, and that is the journalist detective Sarah Jane.
Hmm.
You really see her putting stuff together in her head, and you don't get to see that as often during the Tom Baker era.
That's because a lot of the
Hmm.
Tom Baker stuff was way out there.
Yeah, it was way so far beyond her scope that she just basically followed whatever the
She
doctor.
just fell for the doctor and went,
Yeah.
"Oh God, you know best."
Right.
But